What is up, guys? It is a beautiful day out here in Miami. I figured I would take you guys on a little walk with me today and we can talk about all the stuff going on in crypto. We have been trading sideways for, roughly 4 or 5 weeks, but, a lot of people have lost their hope and lost their sentiment and lost their trust and, all of that in altcoins. And altcoins have been taking a huge hit. I mean, look at Cardano. Cardano shot all the way up to $1.30, and we ended up back around the 60-55 cent range. I think that everything is okay. I mean, I am super bullish still, and I believe that crypto is here to stay. There is trillions of dollars about to enter the crypto market, and Trump is tweeting about it, and big players are making moves. BlackRock is buying a crap ton of ETH, so much. And, there's so much good sentiment going on behind closed doors that retailers don't even know about. Where to start? Besides the fact BlackRock is loading up on Ethereum and other institutions are as well, Semler Scientific, they announced that they were buying another 105 million of Bitcoin by 2027. And they're not the first. I mean, Metaplanet as well. They want to acquire 200,000 by 2027, which is in a year and a half. Metaplanet actually had a massive investment by a really big banking investment firm yesterday called the Capital Group, and they put 500 million into it. So you see, these Bitcoin treasuries are even getting money from institutional investors to go in. Now we're in the elevator going downstairs. Hello. But there is so many good things going on and really big players in the space. Solana, I mean, the whole thing with Pump Fund. Oops, sorry. As you know, Pump Fund got completely wiped off Twitter. They got their accounts banned. Pump Fund is probably one of the worst things that has ever honestly happened to cryptocurrency as a whole and as a network. I mean, people just coming out with their own meme coins and dropping meme coins every other day. It just kind of makes the space a little more saturated, and it's okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The fact that people can just, create their own coin means any celebrity can just drop their coin, boost the value, sell it quick. And yeah, I mean, Pump Fund, it was Solana's second biggest network as opposed to Jupiter. So Solana has been taking a pretty big hit. Solana is sitting at about $150, I think, or $145, somewhere in that range. And, Solana moves really fast, though. The last time we saw it shoot up to like 260, very, very quick. So the thing is with all these altcoins, they seem really low in price and they're trading sideways. But all it takes is one piece of good data, good news, and institutional money flowing in to really move the price, because these are so undervalued right now. Like Solana is sitting at a $85 billion market cap. It's probably worth an $800 billion market cap in a couple of years. That's a 10x. I mean, these coins are so undervalued in the crypto space, and this is why I really strongly think that we are in a complete global reset for the economy. The traditional finance is all going to be moved into crypto. Solana, Ethereum, Cardano, they're all going to absolutely skyrocket. There is so much institutional money about to pour into the markets. And even today, the Fed announced that we could see rate cuts as early as July. And that would be absolutely massive for the markets, as you all know. Jerome Powell is refusing to cut them, but there was some other guy in the Fed that actually announced that he was going to be lowering the rates or discussing, and they see that the US inflation data could present a good opportunity to lower rates by July. And this, as you all know, would just have money pouring into the markets. And we've been waiting very patiently. Altcoin holders, I give you a lot of credit, but the best thing you can really do is just dollar cost in. At this point, you're in too deep. You rode it all the way up. You're sitting, you're waiting for it to pop off again. And there's coins like XRP that are just sitting at 210 to 220 for the past since December. So 6 months after that last massive pump to $3.20. So we're all waiting very patiently to see what happens next, but there is too much bullish momentum going in the crypto market for me to see a real big price decline. We've seen 30% drops in the crypto market before, and I think we saw that for this leg up recently when it hit 109 and went down to $74,000. When it went below 75, I was like, I need to get some Bitcoin. Like, I need to do something and get a couple of $1,000s worth of Bitcoin, because this was so low. I couldn't believe it went from 109,000 to below 80,000. I even made a bet with one of my best friends back on Long Island, and I said Bitcoin is never going below 80,000. By the time, I think the bet was won't go below 80,000 before June 1st. And we hit 74,000. I paid him whatever, $200 that I owed him, and it was a fun bet. And he was right. But we saw a 30% decline from 109 to 74. And when that happened, I was like, okay, there is no possible chance we are going lower than 70, because there's too much institutional capital going in. There are way too many big buyers while the retailers are selling. Like BlackRock, I can't stop talking about them, because they are loading up on Ethereum, and Ethereum price is going to absolutely shoot up. 4K is the next target. I think it's going to surpass it. It'll probably see 4,000 to 4,200 and then bop down to 3,500 for a little, stabilize, and then get ready for its last leg up to, I don't know, I could see ETH at like 7,000 by like mid next year. This is a very patient crypto cycle. Investors have never had to be this patient with, waiting for altcoins to skyrocket, for Bitcoin to move, but we are sitting and trading sideways at $105,000, and people are complaining. Last year at this time, I was in Europe, like bugging out because Bitcoin had crashed down or was on its way up to 70, I think, and it was about 50,000, and I took a little profits to spend some extra cash in Europe, and I was like, I can't believe I'm selling Bitcoin at $50,000. But the whole reason I got into Bitcoin was to provide financial freedom for myself for the rest of my life, which is why I went like all in March of 2020. And since then, I've taken a decent amount of profits off the table, and I've used it to live my lifestyle and, live my life the way I like to live it. I do photography, I do videography, I work, a week or two out of the month filming, and the rest of the time I'm trading and doing stuff to better myself and work on my business. So long-term growth for me is a massive part of my life, and I saw Bitcoin as an opportunity to really provide stable financial freedom for the rest of my life, as long as I'm allocated a big percentage of my total portfolio. So when I got into Bitcoin, I decided like, hey, I'm going to ride this up. I'm going to ride it to 10,000 and I'm going to sell. Which I did. I did sell a little profit at 10,000. I sold a little profit at 15. I sold at 30. I sold at 40, 50, 70. I sold at 105 like a few weeks ago. I have to take profits as I go along to live my lifestyle, because Bitcoin is a long-term hold, but it also provides people that financial freedom, and it's always going to provide a bigger hedge against the dollar. Like, why would I hold my money in US dollar? I made an Instagram post the other day. Why would I keep my money in something that decreases in value and spending power by 6% every single year, when I can invest in something that provides a 60% return every single year? At least it has for the past 5 years. And I do see it slowing down. I do see Bitcoin replacing the S&P 500 within a 10 years time frame with a steady 20 to 30% increase over time. And that would be huge. I mean, 20 to 30% a year is better than almost any stock in the stock market consistently. If Bitcoin could do that and replace the S&P 500, where there's consistent inflow of capital flowing into Bitcoin at a 20 to 30% ARR every year, that would be amazing. And that's probably where I would leave all my money when I'm older and have less risk on. Right now, I'm 34 years old. I'm taking more risk, but I'm taking it to build generational wealth. And I have a feeling it's going to pay off. I'm super patient. I know where I'm putting my money. I do my due diligence. I do my research. And I look at things like the national debt, which hit an all-time high today of like $37.5 trillion. And I look at things that the government is doing with their money and behind closed doors. And I look at where the big players in the space are putting their money as well, like BlackRock, like Michael Saylor, like wherever the big money is going, that's where my money and capital is flowing into right now, because I'm following the big guys. They're not investing in Ethereum, and they're not investing in Bitcoin, and they're not investing in all these different crypto assets to just lose their money over time. They're building generational wealth for their company to grow. All these companies aren't going to go bankrupt because they bought a ton of Bitcoin. They're going to succeed, and they're going to outperform massive companies like Meta and Microsoft, who I'm going to bash right now because they're stupid for not investing in Bitcoin. Yes, I get it. You guys are $2 trillion companies and you've made your wealth over time. But if you want to preserve that and keep up with other companies and other people in the world, you're going to have to buy Bitcoin at some point. And there will be a point one day when Microsoft and Meta both end up buying Bitcoin. They're going to have to. Their competitors and all the main people, even Tesla is buying right now. And every single company in the world is going to have to buy Bitcoin at their own price. And I'll say it over and over again. Sorry guys, it is so hot out in Miami right now. It's so humid. I went on a run last night at like 9 p.m. and I was just drenched in sweat. It was like 80% humidity. It's getting to that time of year where everyone leaves Miami, but honestly, it's kind of nice because it gets kind of quiet and I'm able to pretty much dial in and focus on my work and stuff. But getting back to the crypto-related topics, I'm so excited right now. Like, I love when we trade sideways, especially in a bull market. This is not my first rodeo. I've been around for this. And the last time we were at this stage in the bull market, I didn't really know much about Bitcoin. I had just gotten in. It was probably, when was it? It was probably like September, October. I had just moved to LA. It was COVID 2020 and things were gearing up. Like Solana was priced at like $2 and people were talking about altcoins and Ethereum, and I had just learned about Bitcoin, so that's where I had 100% of my portfolio solely in Bitcoin, which was fine. Bitcoin ended up 10xing in a year and a half when I first got in. I wasn't concerned with other coins. Until about April 2021 hit, I started to move some stuff around and play with other altcoins, and that's when they were starting to take a little bit of a dive. So I started to get in those once they started to drop a bit and started reallocating some of my Bitcoin. But you know what? If I would have just kept my Bitcoin and solely Bitcoin since March of 2020 and just completely DCA'd in that and didn't focus on any other altcoins, I would be in a much better place than I am now with my portfolio. But 2020 hindsight, you can't think like that. You're always going to have to lose some money to make more. And that's the thing with crypto. You have to be okay with cutting some losses and reallocating in order to make more back. And, you know, it has to do with every type of investment you make in life. You have to, everything is a stair climb. You have to take steps back to move steps forward. And the best thing about crypto is those steps that you take back can explode when they move forward. So remember that when you're trading, and remember, take everything I say, you know, with a grain of salt. I just do what I do. I'm risky. I don't have a lot of other bills to pay. So, I mean, I don't have a family. I don't have kids. Some of you guys that are invested in crypto have a whole family to support. I wouldn't suggest putting all of your money into Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. I'm a big advocate about Bitcoin against the hedge against the dollar and the government. But if you have bills to pay and you have a family to take care of, don't put yourself in debt or take out loans to buy Bitcoin. Just, like I said, dollar cost in. Get a little bit every week, enough that you could afford. This is long-term growth. This is not a get rich quick. So whatever you could afford, a couple $100 a week. My girlfriend's family started investing for all their kids, a couple of $100 a week. And you know, that's going to pay off, even if they're down right now. Long-term, nothing has outperformed Bitcoin the past 15 years, and nothing ever will. There is no stock, nothing better in the world where you can put your money besides Bitcoin. And once people start looking at the data and realizing this, the amount of capital that's going to flow into Bitcoin is going to be so big that I literally think it can replace the US dollar. And I've been saying that for 3 years, and everybody's been saying, no, it's not replacing the dollar. That would never happen. But look at how many countries in the world are debasing the US dollar as their currency. It's almost getting to the point where every country is buying so much Bitcoin that they're going to end up holding more Bitcoin on their balance sheet than US dollar. El Salvador made the best decision that they ever could have made in 2022 by buying that much Bitcoin at $30,000. They got in at $30,000. They've been dollar costing in since, and they're thriving. El Salvador has literally a Bitcoin city. They gave Bitcoin to every citizen in the country when they first bought, and they are thriving because they went all in on Bitcoin at $30,000. once countries are able to do this, it's going to be a global arms race to acquire as much Bitcoin as humanly possible. Semler Scientific, they are buying another 100,000 Bitcoin. MicroStrategy buys $1 billion worth of Bitcoin every single week. Metaplanet, they have a goal to acquire 200,000. All of these Bitcoin proxies and Bitcoin companies are getting institutional backing now because people have faith in these companies buying so much Bitcoin. That in the end, the company with the most Bitcoin is going to win. There's no other way around it. Bitcoin is going up, so any company that has the most of it is going to succeed in the value of their company. And guys, I can't stress this enough. Dollar cost in, get a little bit of Bitcoin whenever you can, and keep stacking, because that's all we could do. Oh, I'm sorry if this conversation got a little off topic. I'm just walking around in the heat, but I figured I'd film in a natural environment and just go right off the top of my head and just start talking about something that I am so passionate about, because I've been passionate about it for 5 years. I've been trying to get a job in Bitcoin for the past couple of months, or any crypto related industry or field. It's pretty tough, but there's a lot of jobs opening out. If anybody out there needs a new job, there are so many crypto jobs, and they're all very high paid, and they're all mostly remote. So if you have desire to work in cryptocurrency in a growing industry, there are a ton of jobs out there for you to look into. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Sorry I'm out of breath. It's really hot out. But guys, stay calm. We are in a very, very bullish environment. I'm super excited to see what happens the next few months. I hope the Fed cuts their rates in July. Capital will flow in. Just be patient. You will be rewarded. Thanks. Stay tuned for the next one.